Welcome to America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI, powered by the American Business Podcast. My name is Kevin Deveci. I'm the founder of the American Business Podcast, ABP, and founder of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI. AVCCI is a virtual America's Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Because it's virtual, you can connect AVCCI and AVCCI activities from anywhere. We are a national Chamber of Commerce and Industry to help American businesses grow their businesses, collaborate, connect, and educate their workforce. Our mission is simple at AVCCI. We are to promote, support, uplift, and connect American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the business community in this age of AI. One mission, unlimited locations, thanks to our virtual Chamber of Commerce model that's designed for these modern ages, business professional. When you go to avcci.us website of ours, you can learn more about AVCCI, our mission, as well as our events. We have more than 10 active committee meetings that takes place every month. And each committee is led by members of AVCCI. And each committee meets monthly. Committee meetings are complimentary. You don't have to be an AVCCI member to follow and join. Please go to avcci.us and go to events section. You'll see the list of committee meetings on the calendar, and you can sign up complimentary and join us. Each committee meeting is taking place virtually, and each committee meeting is being recorded and pushed to the American Business Podcast for further visibility and publicity opportunity. Thanks to the integration between the American Business Podcast and America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI. Now AVCCI is the only Chamber of Commerce that is virtual and powered by a successful business podcast network, that is the American Business Podcast. Support us, join us, and we are looking forward to welcoming you at AVCCI. Remember, AVCCI is inclusive. From sole entrepreneur to Fortune 500 company, there is something for every single business professional, executive, and business leader, as well as we are welcoming young professionals, those who are just entering their career, starting their career journey. We are welcoming everyone, every serious business professional and every serious American business and international business to America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, also known as AVCCI, powered by the American Business Podcast. Please go to our website, avcci.us, learn more about AVCCI, go to events section, sign up our coming virtual complimentary committee meetings, and be a member. Support AVCCI. We are growing very fast, and we love to have you at AVCCI and help you grow your business in this age of AI. Thank you for your support.
All right. So good morning, everyone. We're going to get started and just kind of go around the room, just do a couple of brief intros, get an idea who's here joining us today. I'm just going to go in the order that I see on my little Zoom's grid matrix over here. So I'm not picking on anyone. I'll just start from the bottom right. Francis, are you able to come off mute? If not, that's okay. But if you are, just a quick intro. All right. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, hi. Francis Borges here. based in New Jersey, and also co-chairing the Healthcare and Manufacturing Committee. Um, and beyond that, outside AVCCI, I am part of. I'm a consulting partner with Era Group. We help mid-market businesses in finding hidden EBITDA within their overhead spend. We are the largest cost consulting firm, and what we do for mid-market firms is done risk-free. So we take the risk of finding savings, rewarded only on what we deliver back into their bottom line profitability.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Francis. Appreciate you being here. Adam, I know you just hopped on. We're just going around the room real quick, just doing a brief intro. Do you want to jump in since you're on the bottom right of my grid? All right, we'll come back to you, Adam. Oh, there you go.
I'm here. Sorry, what was the question? I just grabbed my coffee.
No, all good. Hey, join the club. We're all here with our fresh cups of coffee. We're just doing a quick intro before we get started. Just
okay.
Who are you? Yeah.
Happy to do it. So my name is Adam Dicker. I'm the former vice president of GoDaddy. I was the executive vice president from there when they were a startup to a billion-dollar company. Then I left. And then I did work with Howard Schultz, who gave me $200 million to build a company up for him in Houston. He's obviously the founder of Starbucks. I did that, and I do a lot of websites and optimizations, and a lot for organizations like NYADD and CSA. I mean, those are all autistic, and I'm also in the middle of replacing the United States foster care system with, instead of having spreadsheets for foster kids, we're doing a fully automated system. And I own 30,000 websites and domains, so I keep pretty busy. And I'm very strong on optimizing and working on websites or anything related to online. I use 200 AI tools. And that's me.
All right. Well, happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us, Adam.
Pleasure to be here.
Sydney, are you able to come off mute? Just give us a quick little intro.
Hi, yes. I'm Sydney. I work for Kevin, and I'm just joining to support you guys in this meeting. And I mostly do pre-sales, and I also helped with the AVCCI website. So anything you need help with, just reach out.
All right.
And I'm here. Yeah, excited to meet you guys.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for all the work you're doing, Sydney. Appreciate that. Yeah. Edward.
You.
Greetings. A little bit messy today, so I'll throw my intro into the chat. Real quick. I'm an intellectual property counsel in transition, looking to employ more of the second arc of my career. That second arc was in management. My first arc was technical. My third arc currently is legal. Still want to stay in legal, but want to use more of my management arc at Cajun.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Edward. And Suzanne, you are next.
Good morning. My name is Suzanne Beck. I am the sales manager at Preferred Events. We are a full service rental company, and we work with individuals, corporates, nonprofits, state agencies, etc. So anything that you need to host an event, we have what you need.
All right. Awesome. Good morning to you, and thank you for being here. And Mr. Bill.
Good morning, everybody. Bill Dillon. I run DWR Peconic Associates. We provide accounting, payroll, bookkeeping, whatever a small business or nonprofit may need. We've been doing this for quite a few years, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. And we'll do the last one. We'll do Sam, because I think everybody knows Kevin, and you're going to hear about me and Anthony in the presentation. So, Sam, give an intro. I think everybody knows Kevin, right? Kevin, you're not offended if you don't do an intro for you every single time, every single one of these that you're here.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll just make announcements about AVCCI coming up. So that's after introductions.
Okay, perfect. And Sam.
Hey guys, I'm Sam. I'm the marketing director for LI Tech Advisors. Anthony's also our CEO, so excited.
All right, awesome. And then, yeah, Kevin, if you have any announcements before we get into today's agenda.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we also have Phil connected. Hello, Phil. Before I start.
Yep. Oh, yeah, Phil, do you want to do a quick intro? We're just finishing up the round.
Perfect timing.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm late. Phil Vitrano, co-founder of Helpopedia. I'm also an independent college and career coach. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you for being here. And then Kevin was just about to give us some updates or announcements, and then we're going to get right into the presentation.
Sure. Yeah, sounds great. Thank you. Appreciate it. And thanks everyone for connecting. Truly appreciate it. I also see Jolie is connecting, so I'll make the announcements and then
Okay.
we can turn it to her. Yeah, that sounds good. Well, welcoming all of you to AVCCI meeting and AVCCI. At AVCCI, our mission is to support, promote, uplift, and connect American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the business community. And we have a very active calendar, event calendar, which is also listed on our website, avcci.us. Later today, we have AVCCI Technology, Cybersecurity for Business Committee meeting at 11 o'clock. Tomorrow morning, we have Long Island Regional Chapter monthly meeting will take place. So you are all of you are more than welcome to join. And also next week we have also full calendar coming up. We have International Trade Committee meeting coming up, HR Committee meeting is coming up. So we are very excited. So please go to avcci.us and event section, and we have a beautiful event calendar there that you can see what is coming up, and you can register there. Thank you very much.
All right, awesome. Yeah, a lot of things showing up on the calendar. I really wanted to go to that the AI and technology one coming up, but I have a doctor's appointment later on this morning. But otherwise, I definitely would have been there. So, all right, let's get here. So we're gonna jump right into it today.
Yeah. I think before Jolie just connected when I was speaking, if that's okay, just for introductions.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Thank
Jolie,
you.
are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Oh, I think I could get the. I have a problem. Anyway, hi, I'm here. You want me to introduce myself?
Yes, please.
Okay. Jolie Leidner. I own a company, Jobs by Jolie, which is a staffing company. We staff temporary and permanent staff across the country for any job you could think of.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for being here, Jolie.
Chris, back to you.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll jump into today's topic. Okay. So today, as part of our business strategy and innovation committee, we're going to be talking about how smart leaders use AI to challenge better decisions. Now, there's a whole nother committee on AI and technology. Anthony can probably nerd out on all the different automations and the agents and the technical side of things. But today we're talking about strategy and innovation. And one of those things, right? So if you think about strategy, it's not just a plan, it's not a list. It is actually a full set of principle guided action items that also include resource allocations, and a simpler way of saying that is choosing what to do and what not to do, which all of that simplifies down to making better decisions to get you where you want to go. Now, we're all using AI in different ways. Some of us use AI for marketing. Some of us use it to write better emails. Some of us use it for replacing our spreadsheets and having it do some math, which I do not recommend. AI is actually not very good at math. Yeah, especially conversational math, not very good. But what we should be using AI to do every day is to solve some kind of challenge, some kind of problem, and ultimately to make better decisions. And that's what we're going to explore today on this committee meeting. My name is Christian Torres. I'm a decision intelligence strategist. I have a passion for decision making. It's what I've been doing my entire career. I'm the founder of Stark Analytics, and I'll get a little bit more into that. And then Anthony is also here as well. Anthony, want to give us a quick little intro?
Yeah, hi. I'm Anthony Bonaspina, CEO and founder of LI Tech Advisors. We're a technical advising firm. here on Long Island, and basically we deal in business outcomes. We'll go in and look at workflows and so on, automations, whether it's going to be solved by technology, software, AI. Sometimes it's just business intelligence, and pretty much that's what we do.
All right. Yep. So let's see what that actually looks like when we start talking about how we're using AI in our workplace. Because the one thing I want to bring to the surface here, I want everybody just to think about this, is that strategy dies from the flaw you were too close to see. Think about it. Every single one of us has a deep personal relationship with the work that we're doing, with our process, with our customers, with our partners. We are very, very close to the work that we're doing. And sometimes that can actually work against us. I mean, that's literally why people spend thousands of dollars to be parts of communities, mastermind groups, to hire advisory boards, to bring outside voices in, because what we need is diversity of thought to pressure test our ideas. And AI does create that opportunity, but we're going to see today that there's some fun ways to do it, and there's also some dangerous things that we should be aware of, and there are some best practices that Anthony's going to get into when we get into how we can use AI to help us to step back and get out of our own little feedback loop, our own little bubbles that can sometimes make it hard for us to see where we're actually missing opportunities or creating risk. So most of us use AI as a yes man, and that's the wrong job for it. But you're not doing anything wrong. That's how it was designed. If you ask any of the LLM tools a question, it's going to give you an answer. I don't think anyone here, raise your hand if I'm wrong, has asked something like ChatGPT a question and it comes back, says, sorry, can't help you. Done, period, end of sentence. Like, it's always going to try to give you something. And when it doesn't have enough context, then you start getting into hallucinations, and it can actually work against you if you don't know or understand the basic premise that if you just ask it a simple question, it's going to try to answer that. So your job is to ask better questions. Your job is to give it better context. Your job is to set the stage and make sure that you're using it in a way where it's going to actually give you useful information, useful feedback. The thing that I see all the time, and it's so simple, it makes sense to me, but a lot of people don't do it, is ask AI to ask you the questions instead of you asking it the questions. That changes the dynamic, and all of a sudden now it's going on its own investigative mission to try to figure out how it can best help you. So we're going to look at those kinds of strategies here today. We did a short little brief intros, but the two people on this call today, Anthony and myself, two people who do this for a living. Like I said, I do decision intelligence. My areas of expertise are continuous innovation strategy, decision intelligence systems, business intelligence and analytics, and AI thought partnership and scenario modeling. I got my background all the way, 20 years ago, I started on the path of quality management systems, ISO 9000, Lean Six Sigma, and never looked back. And at the heart of everything that I've ever done is always using data and technology to make a better decision. Not to, I've never used it this way. It wasn't to promote things. It wasn't to convince people. I didn't use it. I didn't focus on it for marketing. I wasn't using it to try to drive better KPI numbers. I always found it really fascinating how we can use that to create scenarios and to be able to make more better informed decisions, to enhance our decision-making capabilities. Anthony here, his areas of expertise in AI governance and security, operational automation solutions, workflow intelligence, and risk management, obviously very, very relevant to what we're talking about today and what's going on in the world. So here are 4 fun ways that you can make AI attack. Like, you can literally kind of try to sick it on yourself, right? 1, make it argue the other side. Force it to build the strongest case against your plan. Some of you have heard of this called red teaming. It is essentially trying to get it to be your greatest adversary in service of what you're trying to accomplish. Some people call it being devil's advocate. There's a lot of different ways of describing this process, but you have it argue the other side. You will be shocked at what happens when you ask AI to tear your idea apart. 2, hunt the flaw you love. Aim it at the assumption that you're most attached to. So whatever it is that you believe is true, whatever it is that you believe is the right path, the guiding light, the thing that you believe is what's going to lead to success. Have it try to challenge that. Literally aim it at the most deeply rooted assumptions that you hold, and it will challenge you to be better in ways that you never thought possible. 3 is stress test the numbers. Break the math before the market does. Like I said, it is not great at doing, it's not a calculator. It's not intended to be a calculator, but when you give it scenarios, when you give it ranges, when you give it context, it can do a pretty good job at stress testing those assumptions and those numbers. So before the market tells you what's going to go wrong and how this could actually go against you, have it try to run some simulations and run some numbers, run some scenarios for you. Again, we are not trying to have it give us a definitive, deterministic answer that's going to make our little egos happy. We are looking for the pressure. We are looking for the insight. We're looking for it to stress test those ideas. And then number 4 is to name the killer risk. The one thing that ends this, surface it. This is called doing a pre-mortem, right? Some of us have heard the term post-mortem. So after the whole thing is done, after it's all, the dust has settled, we look back and figure out what went right, what went wrong. Well, how about we try that before we even start? So you can actually ask AI to look out into the future, hypothetically, and say, if this plan of mine, if this business of mine, if this campaign of mine fails a year from now, why did it fail? And it will work backwards. It will actually start with the premise or the assumption that it failed, that your idea, your plan failed, figure out what's the most likely reason or likely reasons that it fails, and work backward from there to help you put in place contingencies and figure out how to avoid some of those traps and how to make your product or service or plan better. These 4 things alone will completely transform the way that you interact with AI, and it will challenge you to do things outside of your comfort zone, but ultimately that's where the growth happens. And that's been my experience. That's why I was really passionate about this particular topic. And when Anthony and I decided, hey, we're going to talk about how we can use AI, my original title, I forget, Anthony, it was something like how to make it turn it into your biggest enemy. Like I wanted to go very, very raw. I wanted to turn AI into my adversary. This was gamifying the experience. And Anthony said, okay, we should probably, tone it down, make it a little bit more professional. I'm like, no, I want to start with how to make AI kick your ass. Like it was literally that intense, because that is not only where I have the most fun, but where I've actually gotten the most value out of AI is when I try to force it to be the bad guy, to be the meanie, to be the one that's going to tell me the things that I don't want to hear. And I'm going to get into how I've done this personally. This has been my approach. Everybody here is probably going to find their own way, but we're going to do a very quick demo on something that I built for myself, which is called the Stark Advisory. So my company is called Stark Analytics. So yes, it's after Tony Stark, Iron Man, and yes, that's supposed to be like Elon Musk in the background there. If you sense that there's a theme, that's because there is. And what I built for myself was I built an environment where I can bring in the exact voices that I want in the room. These are actually known figures. These are not made up avatars or archetypes. These are the people that I actually watch their YouTube videos, the people that I read their books, the people that I follow on social media, the people that I actually trust their opinions. And I went out and figured out how can I actually create an environment that allows me to simulate having those folks helping me through their publicly available frameworks, methodologies, and their content to give me a room just like this of people that would help me pressure test my idea. And if you've ever read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, this actually came from a chapter there called The Invisible Counselors, where Napoleon Hill would sit in his library and he would imagine that he had some of the greatest minds of his time at that table with him, helping to pressure test his ideas. Now, for him, that was Edison, Lincoln, Ford, Carnegie. For me, it's Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, some people from more contemporary times, but that I know I don't have the budget to have them at the table. Some of those are actually not even alive anymore. But imagine having those people at the table helping to pressure test your idea. So I built this for myself, and I'm going to show you how I use AI to pressure test those scenarios and those assumptions. Make sure, can everybody see my browser window now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
This is nothing fancy. It is not an interface. It's not a new high-tech tool. This is literally just a project in ChatGPT. But what I've done is actually given it all the instructions that it needs. And so when I go here to the project settings, I've given it extensive instructions, exactly how I want it to interact with me. It must include source references. It must not be sycophantic. This is actually a demo board that I'm using for demonstration purposes here, so I have to give that in there. So it cannot be a yes man. I am literally telling it how I want it to help me. So it follows these instructions every single time. And every time I get an answer, it's not going to go off the rails because it has to go through the project instructions first. Then within the project sources, I've added John Maxwell, Elon Musk, and Kevin O'Leary just for demonstrative purposes here. Again, these are not endorsed by these individuals. This is essentially a playbook that represents all of the public available knowledge that these individuals have put out into the world under deep research from multiple tools synthesized into one playbook. Now, if I want to ask it a question, I'm actually going to turn it over. Does anybody here want to be the test case? Does anybody here have a decision that they're working through, something that they would love to ask this particular board on what they should do in this case? If not, I can, throw something in, but I want to open it up. Does anybody have something they want to offer? No? Okay, I'll throw something in there. All right, so I'm gonna actually use voice because that's way more efficient. My name is Christian Torres. I'm the founder of Stark Analytics, a decision intelligence advisory firm. I'm concerned that AI is going to eat my lunch. I'm concerned that AI is going to put me out of business. What happens when everybody starts trusting AI more than they trust me? What can I do to make my business more resilient against AI disruption? And then I'm going to ask. Now, when I ask this question, if I just ask ChatGPT, it's going to give me a generic answer. Who knows where the sources are coming from, whose voices, what expert opinions are being thrown into the mix. In this case, I know exactly who's answering. I know exactly because I've taken the time ahead of time to determine how I want the AI to interact with me, how I want it to push back on me, how I want it to structure the responses and the voices in the room and the frameworks that I wanted to prioritize. Okay. Oh, I love it. Perfect. First thing it didn't give me an answer. It started asking me questions. So before Kevin, Elon, and Just, so what is your annual revenue? How large is the team? How urgent is this transformation? Right away, you can tell this is different because it did not give me an answer. It came back and said, we can't give you an answer because this board refuses to do so unless you answer these questions. Now I can go back and give it a simulated answer. Annual revenue. So annual revenue under 100,000, solo team, and the transformation I would say is about a 3. Let's go with those numbers. Going to think. I've also noticed that the newer versions of ChatGPT, the new models take a little bit longer, but I also have it set to high. If you want it, if you want it quicker, you can always set it for a quicker response. So what's going to happen now is each of the advisors is going to come back and give their unique perspective through the lens of their frameworks, their methodology, their philosophy, their worldview. And then it'll actually surface if there's any tension, any big areas of agreement, and then give me something that I can work with. But every time that I've done this, I've always gone back and tested it against just what happens if I just ask ChatGPT, help me with my business, help me grow my business, help me solve this problem. And this version has always done a better job because it does not source from general knowledge. It's very specific to the people that I want responding to this. So in this case, Kevin O'Leary gives me his response. If Stark sells reports, dashboards, or analytical, AI will eat the business. Okay, thanks, Kevin. Way to be nice. Those services are becoming commodities. Create one narrow offer with measurable financial value. Use AI to reduce delivery time and price around the decision's value rather than your labor. I think a lot of us have been guilty of that in the past, billing by hour until we realized that that was not a scalable solution. Know the numbers cold, delivery cost, gross margin, close rate, etc. Okay, great. Now I'm on Shark Tank, and it's sourcing right from his playbook. Every single one of these, I don't want to take up all the time reading it in detail, but every single one of these is going to be through the lens of that individual, and then you get to your board synthesis. The board's conclusion is direct. AI will not eliminate decision advisors. It will eliminate decision advisors whose primary value is producing analysis. So I guess I should shelve most of my spreadsheets. Stark Analytics should become an AI native, human accountable decision advisory firm. Your defensibility should rest on 5 things AI alone cannot reliably provide. Okay, this is helpful. This is what I wanted to hear. I did not want to come back and say, oh, no, you're fine. There's always going to be value for humans in this process, or give me some generic human in the loop nonsense. I want it to understand the real problem and give me something that I can actually use. And this has been how I've been working with AI, because I realized that I'm by myself. I mean, I'm part of communities, but at the end of the day, at 3 a.m., when I wake up and I have a brilliant idea, which probably isn't, I don't have someone by my side that can tell me, Christian, that's a dumb idea. Christian, you probably shouldn't do that. Christian, are you really thinking about this? Is this really in line with what you're trying to accomplish? Someone that's going to challenge me in all the right ways. So that's what I've done with AI, but there is a whole nother side to this, because let's take that same example. If I were to give it my entire company financials, all of my contracts, all of my IP, every single piece of proprietary information that I had in the quest to try to give me a better answer, that might create a whole nother problem. And with that, I hand it over to Anthony.
Wow, Christian, that's amazing. And I love the entire thing you've created there, the playbooks and stuff like that. And putting yourself up against Kevin Leary. Oh my God. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, he's always a jerk. In every single chat I have with him, he always has the last word, and he'll just say something like, I don't care what these guys are saying. This is what you actually need to worry about. So it's refreshing.
AI will eat your lunch. I love it. So yeah. Well, so Christian showed us how AI become one of the smartest advisors in your business, by challenging your assumptions and helping improve, strategic thinking. The next question every organization should be asking is, how do you scale that safely across an entire company? It's, one of the major problems they're having right now, all right, that I'm seeing in business, 85% of businesses out there just playing, dabbling. And it kind of reminds me of back in the, and Adam probably can, relate to this, is that, I did a lot of website work and so on way back when, but in a different tone. I did it on the ADA side, WCAG compliance and so on, when there was a whole, effort by the DOJ declared websites to be brick and mortar. Once that happened, a lot of businesses had no idea. And this is that, they can now get sued if their business is not, their website is not ADA compliant. And that, it caught a lot of businesses up by surprise. So all of a sudden afterwards, people get, major companies are getting sued left and right. We had a company at the time where I'm one of the first 35 accessibility analysts at the time. that actually can certify a site, accessible. But anyhow, just the trend there was to get, raise awareness to businesses and so on. So I'm taking the lesson from that about making sure that businesses are aware of what's happening now with AI. I'm finding a lot of owners. I mean, even, I start with my own clients first, and then, as prospects call me and so on, I advise them, about something called shadow AI. Basically, what that is that, you know, it's basically employees who are, they're not trying to do anything wrong. It's just that the ownership, the leaders and so on, have no ideas what their employees are doing. And the employees are trying to get the jobs done faster, so they start using like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, or another AI tool without the organization's knowledge or governance. And out there, does anyone know exactly what information every employee in their company is entering the AI today? That's the first question I ask it, an owner. And I'm like, the whole thing is that they are working towards something. They're looking at an AI policy maybe to put in place. And I'm saying, you need to get in front of this now before it, bites you in the butt later on. Um, because someday, soon, all right. I mean, I've seen this happen already where we've had a school, for example, I ran into that 600 and some on teachers that some of the teachers are putting kids IEPs in just for analysis real quick, this so on, and into like Copilot or even ChatGPT. And I'm saying, that's out there in the public now, and I foresee like maybe in 6 months to 24 months something happening where basically you're um, this you may end up with attorneys or compliance officers or someone putting a query in to find out for a specific school or in general what kind of private information was released by this organization. And before you know it, you're going to have 50 kids that might have IEPs that were out there. Now you have a class action lawsuit and so on. So businesses need to get ahead of that before that becomes a problem. Now, case in point, if, for example, just this week, we saw a great example of why governance matters. Users discovered that conversations they had intentionally shared, all right, on Claude through its public share feature, were indexed by search engines like Google. Many people believe those links were effectively private or unlisted, but because they were public web pages, some became searchable. And what happened, sensitive information, including like business documents, resumes, legal discussions, API keys, personal information appeared in search results before the issue was addressed. It wasn't a hack. It was just the way the nature of Claude's, um, way it worked with those chats. Um, so, private conversations remain private, but the issue involved conversations that users had explicitly shared using public links that many users didn't realize those public links could be indexed by search engines. So, the point is that, it's not like you don't want to use AI. The lesson here is that organizations need governance, policies in place, enforcing those policies, making sure you're training your individual. You also make sure you have approved tools. I said, employee education, visibility into how AI is being used within the organization. We have, you know, a platform that we use internally initially that is allowed SOC 1, SOC 2 HIPAA compliant, that, we could put private information in and so on and not worrying about it getting out. We've been working on this for like 2 years. So, but companies that are just starting out or, don't have those tools at this point, and they really do because of the risk involved. Um, so instead of everybody like using different AI tools, I mean, this is a platform you can use one tool that actually could also, it basically selects whatever LLM it wants to use as far as the best one to use for the query, which is pretty cool. But the thing is, it gives you the ability of structuring and framing the AI queries so that they don't go out to the deep learning engine. Um, okay, so let's see what else. As far as also like some of the things I've seen, like for example, an attorney, one of the attorney firms that called me up and so on, that was using and putting depositions in to a an LLM. And right away, what happens is that that information now is disclosed, goes to the public. So you no longer have that attorney-client privilege. You've now disclosed that information. So that's a real big, potential problem. Okay. So far, any questions out there on this? Even with Shadow AI is.
One of the things I'd like to say is that there's also really good sides to this. When I was working with a security company, we set up our own area where we could set up. We had 3 different products. We did all the technical stuff and all the stuff that anybody would ask about that product, and we combined it all in one place. So people were using stuff in our private GPT, and they could go ahead. Everybody could access the same information, so they weren't all just pulling facts or things from anywhere, but the product information team put it all in one place. That made it easier for them to go in and ask questions about the products, and that was constantly updated by our product team. That makes it so everyone's going off the same playbook, and it keeps it private and doesn't go out into the net as well. The same as you're doing with the company that you're talking about. It's the same thing, but it's much smarter to keep it that way because people were doing stuff. They were doing scheduling, they were doing budgeting, they were doing everything on the free GPT, and everything was public. Everything's out there, so nothing they can do about it. But they didn't know. The companies, a lot of companies are too late. A lot of them today don't even have ADA compliance. I mean, they still don't have it. They're not going to because they don't have a clue what it is. But the privacy of it and keeping all your employees on the same side of the documents and using the same documents for questions helps a lot.
Absolutely.
It's good information that you provided.
Yeah, that's a good point, Adam. And speaking of which, too, is that we've been using AI again for I've been I've been at this a lot longer than Christian, but I don't even say how old I am. But 40 years ago, I was working on AI for the top secret project many years ago for the government.
Don't worry,
but,
we're probably the same age.
I know. I just I may not look it, but oh my God, yeah, I have as my guys call it, I have fossil knowledge, and they like to I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I think it's because I've been around since I'm as old as dirt. So anyhow, but the thing is, one of the things we've been doing too with AI, which has been very good, and again, we're using the secure AI because we want to keep all our information company private. But we've been designing our website based on the customer's perception. We had AI say, "Okay, this is our perfect ideal client. Can you design our web pages now so that when somebody's typing into AI, I'm looking for XYZ type of company, we come up." All right, based on that. And what's another thing too is we're finding out a lot of companies are now using AI for search engines instead of like just going to Google, which is also using AI.
Yeah. That's 40%, just so you know. 40% don't want to list from Google. They want to ask questions and get questions answered. So it's a huge number that's moving over into answer engine optimization.
Exactly. Yes. So that's something which, when, it's not just SEO anymore. Now it's like, how do I get an AI platform that recognize my company, recognize what I do, and do it in a way from the perfect client's perception. So we have AI like landing page. I don't want to call them landing pages anymore. It's AI analytic pages that are optimized for AI, which Adam, I'm sure 30,000 websites there, domains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a script. I did a prompt yesterday to analyze a website, and I set it up like you showed us how to set it up in private. And I basically just import the name, and then it runs a full report. So it's exactly like what you're saying, and it's very good information you're providing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole thing with this too is that because I've been approached by companies too, because this is not, we did this for our own website, all right, but now a lot of my clients are asking me, hey, can you do this for us too? And I'm like, well, it's not, no, normally we don't normally do this, but we are, at heart, a custom software. That's how I started the business. The company, I said, I guess it's naturally AI can actually, we can definitely help you out. We know what prompts to use and so on. But
that's part of the real benefit. And I'll just tell you, I was looking for accessibility tools for a website, and they were expensive. So I went ahead and I built accessibility website.com, and now it's free for all organizations and charitable stuff. But the other companies were charging anywhere from $400 to $1,200 a year. So I just built it, and it was a lot easier. And now And you
Yeah.
can avoid all the costly stuff that.
Yeah, and it's so important to do that. People don't realize the human part of this is that, when we were doing, I was doing ADA work, heavily in the past, and we actually had 20 people with disabilities working for us doing testing for the United Airlines, American Airlines. The Department of Justice required, real life testers. But we also helped QuickBooks into it, get the desktop version accessible to people with disabilities. We put like 500 accountants back to work because now the screen readers like JAWS and so on could actually, work with QuickBooks. But it's the putting people back to work and making them valuable again and so on. And a person with a disability is one of the most dedicated workers you can have working for an organization. It's one of the things I found.
So I don't know if you know this, but Phil and I set up the largest special needs directory online ever. We went from 0 visitors 2.5 months ago with a fresh reg to 350,000 this month and 1 million in September. So there's a lot. It's special needs.help. I even use the .help extension just because it's good, but it's helping. We get letters every day from people that we're helping because they don't know where to look for stuff, and AI is not giving it to them. But it's very helpful to get everything in one place and get organized and accessibility. There's a couple million people that need accessibility tools, and if you don't have them on your website, you're non-compliant. So it's pretty important that they do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, 1 out of 5 people have a disability. And it's not a community you can join. Basically, you join, not that you want to. It just happens all of a sudden overnight. And but the thing is, it's a very important thing to do. And I know, Phil, you're doing a great job with what you're doing. And again, I know we got off a little bit on the AI side here, but it's
I'll let you get
important.
back.
Yeah, but it's important, like in AI, now this is the time too, I mean, with AI and so on, to actually help, with a person with disability, basically using the AI tools now. And, things are just getting better where sites maybe don't have to be as compliant and you still be able to have a screen reader that works. Okay, Christian, anything else on your end?
No, I just think it's fascinating that as the conversation naturally progressed, we've actually touched on a couple of different areas that stem from the two things that I was talking about in the beginning, which was decision making, right, and innovation. Because what we're describing here is disrupting the way that we think about hiring, the way that we think about our online presence, the way that we think about the security of our information. And then if we go even deeper on like what you were talking about, Anthony, with the governance of our AI tools, there's actually two different sides to this. There's how do you protect the information that's internal, so your employees, preventing leaks of your information going out. And then you have another side of it, because a lot of companies, whether you're B2B or B2C or whatever your setup is, you're collecting data or generating it about your customers and your partners and your vendors. So this is not internal. This is now stuff that you're receiving. And whether you're just storing it, analyzing it, transforming it, you're going to probably use AI at some point in the process. And I had one scenario come up, which came to my mind as you were describing that, was a statistical analysis firm came up to me and said, we need your help. We have transcripts and we have maybe about 250,000 repair orders in an Excel CSV file with human language typed in by a technician. This was for an automotive civil claim. And we have no idea how to get all that data and the transcript to figure out if there's actually a statistical correlation between the way that the language was written and the perceived defect, like when we actually did quality testing. And so we were trying to kind of bridge the gap between human language and the numbers. And they brought me in because like my expertise is in like Excel and automation and trying to figure out how to get them to present their case. The first thing they asked me was, are you using AI? I said, I will probably use AI at very specific points. They said, well, we're concerned because the opposing counsel, they already knew, opposing counsel is going to need to know exactly what prompts you used, how you used AI, at what point, because they were worried about hallucination. They did not want me to ask AI, evaluate this spreadsheet and tell me what percentage of rows are indicative of this problem. I could have done that. That would have been easy. I would have been done in 5 minutes. I could just upload to the CSV and say, analyze this and tell me what percentage of repair orders have language that seems to correlate with what's going on in this deposition document. Okay, great, done. Could not do that. That would be unacceptable. You know why? Is because if you then take that and recreate that on another person's ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, you'd get a different number. It's subjective. It is not deterministic. And so what I had to use was actually AI to understand the patterns and the common language that was used, and then create a text cleaning script that would be deterministic and run it to be able to clean up the language, misspellings, typos, words, with no space between them. Basically, the types of things that humans do that would help clean up the data set. Once the data set was clean, now we can run an analytical script that would actually figure out and look for keywords and key phrases. But the most important part was it was never ran through AI to solve the problem on its own, because you couldn't recreate that. And they knew immediately that when you're talking about civil cases, the opposing side needs to see exactly how you did it. They need to be able to recreate it and pressure test it on their end. And so if I would have just taken the easy route and asked AI to do the work, we would have failed literally right out the gate.
No, absolutely. I mean, clean data is so important, and it's otherwise you have garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. So I do want to leave some time. I know we have about 8 minutes left. We have some other folks in the room. Questions about what we've talked about here today. Questions about how you're using AI in your business with your customers' data, with your data. Something that maybe Anthony and I could answer or speak to. Observations, thoughts, anything.
Edward?
Thank you. It's a great presentation. I love the stuff. I love the modes. I actually use several of those red hat modes already. Great presentation. One thing that I want to do, it's a slight tangent. I'm actually have a side gig right now where I am training a frontier model as a subject matter expert on law. So what I wanted to do, offer to the group, if you want to email me legal issues or questions you might have, I'm willing to modify that slightly because it has to be my voice into the training session, and I'm willing to share how the training evolves from this frontier model. My email is already in the chat. I'll put it in again to make it easy, and also save the chat with the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner. So thank you again for your presentation. It's been awesome.
Thank you, Edward. Appreciate that. Yeah,
Phil?
Great job, guys. So Christian, I put a few comments in the chat. One of the elements I wanted to share with you is I have someone in the business, and they knew early on they needed 9 agents to be running to verify and go through the process with each agent. So the one agent, like your one agent, did that activity. Then they run another agent to challenge the first agent. Then the third agent challenges the second agent. And so you're doing all this due diligence associated with the logic and understanding of how AI is responding. And it's up until 9 that they're like, okay, now we're satisfied. So that's just another approach. And I was wondering, have you been successful using AI to help you differentiate your business? And has it been distinctively clear that this is a game changer for you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I could speak to that right off the bat. We have 53 MCP servers right now. What is that? Model Context Protocol servers that are API interfaces into our infrastructure. And then we have, I don't know, maybe around 12 different bots happening. One of the delivery areas, like the MSP division, we have 5 delivery areas. We've automated 2 of those delivery areas. Now, one of the delivery areas used to cost us, because we had a couple people that we outsourced, it was around $10,000 a month it was costing us. We now replace that with 1 bot, all right, that now is doing that function about 95% effective, and it's doing a better job than the people we had actual people before. and it works 24/7, doesn't complain, doesn't take PTO. And it's doing the centralized services pretty much that delivery area.
Anthony, my question was, did AI come up with that? Not the actual execution of the idea. Did it come up with the idea?
Yes.
Oh, outstanding.
Yeah, I said put the 5 delivery areas in here. Which one should we automate first? Which one's the easiest to automate? Let's do the low-hanging fruit. And because of the a highly automated part of the of CS is that it's very tedious, a lot of little like patch management. It might be basic check backups and so on, and open a ticket with the vendor if there's a problem. It said right off the bat that's the first one to hit.
So Anthony, you already knew that you wanted to automate something. So it was, for me, it's not as insightful. And yes, it's absolutely tremendously helpful to compare those 5. You're giving it the information, but this can be automated and processed faster. So you came up with that idea. And so the question that I have is, have you ever just like Christian's example is wonderful. I have no idea how to differentiate. I'm in trouble. Please share with me whatever ideas or suggestions you have that's going to actually be a game changer, which is different than the approach that you've taken, which is, I have issues here. I need you to, here's all the data, help me automate this, and where's the best use of my time. So I'm looking for the incredible insight that AI has provided you that it was a blind spot. And all of a sudden, now you have and that's why I love the Christian idea, is that I don't know if it worked. I don't know if he got substantial insight from the questions that he asked. Go ahead. Yes, please.
Yes. So absolutely. I struggled for years to explain what it is that I even do. I mean, as an employee in any organization, it became very evident, like, oh, he can, build any, system and dashboard and analytics and forecast models, and he can automate things. He's like a wizard in this stuff. Great. Give him a raise and put him on the team. I could show value once I was in an organization, but as a business owner, I had a hard time explaining to people at a networking event what it is that I even do. Like, what is the field that I'm in? Why is it so hard for me to sell and market myself? If you just put me in a little room with coffee, I can build some cool stuff, but I had no idea what was keeping me back. And what my board revealed to me was, Christian, you sell by being witnessed. And I was like, what does that even mean? It says you sell by being witnessed. You do not sell by outbound and content. And you do not, that's not your mode of selling. And you also suffer from shiny thing syndrome. It literally told me, I said, you suffer from shiny thing syndrome, because I kept coming back. I'm a builder. I like building things. So every time I see an ad on Facebook, I'd come back and say, oh, this new twin agent thing says it can go out and find all my prospects and leads and do all the hard part, the selling for me. And I would bring it to my board and say, should we add this to our tech stack? And it came back and said, no, you're procrastinating. You're going back to your default mode, your basement. You are building. You're trying to find the new greatest tool. Stop doing that. You need to actually go out there, build the relationships, and do the work of being witnessed in doing the thing that you love doing. And that was, I never thought about it that way. I was always stuck trying to figure out, I need to get a better 60-second elevator pitch. I need to be able to get better Facebook ads, or I need a better LinkedIn strategy. I was always trying to find the tool, the thing, the tactic, the approach, the automation. And what AI revealed to me was, no, that's not going to solve the problem, because you're always going to find something new and shiny to pursue. And you've got to stop being in build mode, because you're not going to build your way out of this problem, because it's not an architecture problem. It's not a tech stack problem. It's not an automation problem. It is a misalignment and identity problem. And that completely blew my mind. I was like, okay, all right, cool. Let's go. Now I know. Let's do this.
Excellent. Excellent. Great example. Anthony, you were going to say something?
Yeah, no, same thing is that, speaking of which, because I had put pretty much my approach in on how I do sales, how I, I'm owner-led sales. And I asked, AI to, analyze my process. I put in all my any FTAs I had, all my correspondence. I put it all in there, and I told it to be brutal. And boy, it was brutal. Okay, it came back and told me, and it opened my eyes. I said, "Oh my, I didn't realize I was doing this." Because like Kristen, I tend to build things and fix things. I'm a fixer. Okay, when I hear a problem, I'm on the call with a prospect, whatever. I'm fixing their problem on the call. It's like, well, what do you need me anymore? Well, well, I can continue fixing things, but you already fixed it. Thank you. So I have to realize, I realized my shortcomings immediately, and boy, was it brutal. So I needed that.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Yeah, I often tell people, I said, that's, to me, that's the most fascinating use of AI. It is not an answer machine. It is supposed to be used as a thought partner. In addition to, yes, you can use AI to analyze data and documents, and it has a lot of like very pragmatic use cases. But I've had the most success in using it to challenge my assumptions and to introduce a level of diversity of thought that I otherwise would not have had access to so easily. Yes, you can go and join all the different communities and groups, and you should. There's a human connection that you cannot simulate, you cannot replicate with AI. But the ability to have those conversations in private, right? No one's telling me. I'm not going out there and sharing my deepest, darkest secrets with people. But if I do like what Anthony did and share all of my correspondence in a safe environment, not putting it out there for the world, then I can surface things about myself that I would not have been thinking about. I would not have thought that was the issue. And it helps to reveal things about yourself, which is why so many people end up using ChatGPT like a therapist, which I don't recommend, but I get the appeal because that is a really powerful use of it, and it helps us be better versions of ourselves. Right? Everything, every strategic document, every innovative new idea starts with a person or a group of people wanting to do something better, wanting to change something, wanting to make an important decision, wanting to grow. And that's a thing that AI can help you do if you're willing to go through that gauntlet.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think we were actually technically 2 minutes over. I don't have a hard stop, but I do want to be respectful of people's time, right? Because we're through 9:30, or am I hallucinating? Did we book this until 10?
Yes, 9:30.
Okay,
Yeah,
it is.
9:30 with that. Yeah.
I figured. I thought we kept it to an hour. That feels about right. So yeah, if anybody has any last minute questions, thoughts, or anything like that, obviously Anthony and I are both listed on the AVCCI website. Our emails are on there. You have the emails we're on the invite list on the Zoom. So obviously not speaking for Anthony, but please feel free to reach out to either one of us.
Absolutely.
If you want to keep the conversation going, this is something that we're very passionate about. So I'm always happy to nerd out on questions relating to AI, decision making, strategy, innovation, and how we can use AI to help us be better.
Absolutely. Yes. And same goes here, is that reach out. Be more than happy to. I love talking and I love giving advice, and I'm here at your disposal.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
This is Tommy DeMisa, one of the partners of Vanguard Benefits. I'm excited to be a new member of the AVCCI. And, it's an organization really that I can tell already from being connected to it that has reach nationally and across many different verticals in business. So I'm excited to be a part of that. So really quick, what I do, one of the partners, as I say, at Vanguard Benefits, and we're an employee benefits agency. We're laser focused on that employee benefits experience. So that means we work with employer groups as they look to create strategic employee benefits solutions. We look to come in and try to help them stabilize their costs around their benefits. And a lot of what we deal with is when folks are looking to attract or retain talent. So that's where we live. We also work to help businesses and nonprofit organizations find ways to really stay compliant around their employee benefits and offset a lot of the burden of implementing an employee benefits plan. So what I like to say is, I was just with a client yesterday, and I like to say we become the outsourced benefits management team for our clients. So our largest client has about 800 employees, and our smallest client has 2 employees. And really where we make the biggest impact is from about 50 to 300 employees. That's where we find that we're really well situated to work with those types of groups. We work with the leadership team, and then we do one-on-one education as appropriate for our clients. So really, we know how expensive benefits can be, and it often is a very personal conversation as it relates to somebody's family and their budget. So we make sure that we're always available to educate. And then we give that one-on-one service through my operations and client service team throughout the year. So I'm always looking forward to meeting with different employer groups, some different strategic partners. For my entire career, I've worked with different CPAs and accountants and other trusted advisors. So happy to be a member of AVCCI, and I look forward to connecting with everybody. And let's reach out. Let's make a new relationship. Take it easy. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Stacy Simbrom. I am a member of the AVCCI. I am also one of the leads of the Women in Business Committee and the Health and Wellness Committee. I run a company called Reflection Project. I am a coach. I am an integrative wellness coach. And what that means is I work with individuals who want to optimize their lives, do better with their wellness, do better in their relationships, and feel better about themselves and the world that they live in. I take an integrated approach, which helps you to learn how to leverage your 3 centers of intelligence, which is your brain, your logic, your emotions, and your body, which is your intuition. I bring several different modalities into this work. I've been doing this work for about 15 years now, and I would look forward to working with you and collaborating with you in this space. If this sounds like something that you would like to learn more about, please contact me either by phone or by email. Thank you very much, and I look forward to meeting with you soon. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Mike Catherwood, one of the founding members of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI. I'm also the chair of the International Trade, Wholesale, Distribution, and Logistics Committee. During our committee meetings, we'll be sharing important content that will help companies in those industries achieve their growth goals. Aside from AVCCI, I work for Allianz Trade, the largest provider of trade credit in the world. Trade credit helps businesses in all industries feel comfortable with who they're extending credit to, eliminating the worry of, is someone going to pay? If your business is offering credit terms or considering doing so, please contact me to learn more. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Beck. I'm the sales manager at Preferred Events, and I'm a proud member of the Americans Virtual Chamber of Commerce, and I'm excited to be here. At Preferred Events, we are the preferred choice for your event rentals throughout the New York metropolitan area and beyond. Whether you're planning a corporate event, a charity walk or run, a fundraiser or gala, a festival, school event, or private celebration, we provide the rentals and the support needed to bring your event to life. Our inventory includes tents, chairs, linens, staging, flooring, fencing, structures, tables, and so much more. What truly sets us apart is the commitment to customer service and helping our clients create successful and memorable events. We work with corporations, nonprofits, schools, municipalities, and event professionals, and we love the opportunity to learn more about your upcoming events and what you're looking to do. If you're planning an event and need a reliable rental partner, please reach out. I look forward to connecting with fellow AVCCI members and finding ways we can support one another's success. Thank you for watching, and I hope to meet you soon.
I'm Mel Blackwell, the president of Blackwell Media Group, and I'm a proud member of the AVCCI. Joined recently and very, very supportive and excited about that. As president of Blackwell Media Group, basically, I'm a retired corporate fixer. For 35 years, I've worked in global companies, domestic US companies, to help boards and C-level teams try to figure out how to solve complex business riddles. In doing that, I actually decided to hang up my cleats because 35 years is a long time. I deployed behind enemy lines. I did not go in as a consultant. I took a full-time role because I loved working with the teams. I loved building the teams, and I liked the smell of napalm, And so I worked in those different stints for 2 to 6 years, and in kind of graduating from that world now, I do keynote speaking at major conferences, at annual retreats for corporate teams, and kind of a hybrid of coming in to speak to a large crowd or even a small room, and then rolling up my sleeves and coaching and helping a team solve a specific complex riddle. In doing all of that, what I realized, I wrote a book called Uncommon Sense: How to Fix Your Workplace Culture in the Wild West of Business. In doing all that, I realized, reflecting back, for about a year, I wrote the book that I've been working on for 20 years. And when I finally said, all right, I'm going to write this thing, I realized almost everything I did was culture. And so I am somewhat of a culture architect. I've had a reputation of being very plain spoken. What you see is what you get. Funny. I like to have fun, but pretty serious. And I can do some really complex, brutal stuff, whatever it takes to protect the culture and the good people. And so that's what I do now. I do the speaking and I work with people. Don't even be embarrassed. It's like, Mel, we have this really complex riddle we're beriddled by it. I'll come in, roll up my sleeves, and we'll slay that thing. So that's what I do, and I'm looking forward to it. And I highly recommend everybody support Kevin and the AVCCI.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christy Brink, and I'm the owner of Lux Escapes by Christy, personal travel planning, and the co-chair of the Women in Business Committee. I'm a passionate traveler and work closely with my clients to plan personal, curated itineraries around the world. I research the best value, work with local experts around the world, and provide convenience and support so you can travel more and plan less. I am relationship driven, so it's important to me to get to know my clients so I can deliver the best travel experience with each trip. If Women in Business resonates with you, please join me as we work to provide education, inspiration, and support for all women that join. I look forward to getting to know you all. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Lou Bernardi. I'm the founder of Bright Path Benefits in Melville, New York. We are essentially an employee benefits agency specializing in all types of benefits, but a particular specialty in group health insurance plans. I've been in the business for about 34 years, and I've seen the industry of healthcare and health insurance change dramatically since the implementation of managed care, which really was designed to keep the consumer in the dark. These days, and really for the last 8 years of my career, we have changed everything about our agency to focus on plan sponsors, their members, patients, helping people really navigate and better understand the healthcare and the health insurance ecosystems. The deliberate attempt by both of those ecosystems to keep the consumer in the dark has really perpetuated increasing premiums every year on group health insurance plans, diminishing benefits, and really an unsustainable health insurance and healthcare system. What we do is we use AI. We use best-in-class solution partners. Of course, we use insurance companies when we have to, especially their networks. But when possible, we are building high-performance health plans that really mitigate the artificial cost of healthcare and health insurance. We use AI to help people access and identify the very best doctors so that they can get the top care. And we use direct contracting, self-insurance, stop loss when applicable to to help companies save dramatically. Examples of that savings are a company in New Jersey, a very large veterinary hospital system with about 400 employees, about 300 of which are on their health plan, reduced their cost by $1.2 million in year one. And that was not by shifting costs onto employees. It was actually identical benefits, exact same copays they had previously, just better partners. We're working with the best in class solution partners that supplement health insurance plans. What I'm really passionate about, and I just finished my book actually this week called Inside the Healthcare Heist. It is really there to elevate the IQ of CEOs, CFOs, re-engage with the C-suite so that they can work with us and HR as a team to build smarter health insurance plans. It's no secret that healthcare, health insurance is costing businesses significantly. It's a top 2 or 3 expense for most companies, but it doesn't have to be. There is a dividend sitting within your health insurance plan that can be redistributed back to you and your employees, put it into your growth fund, and use that to really help your business excel. A health insurance plan doesn't have to be the burden that it is too often. It can really be a differentiator. It can be a competitive advantage if you know how to build it properly. And that's really where we excel here at BrightPath Benefits. So I welcome any connections. Look for a copy of my book. I think it's in the AVCCI website under authors. We are not just your average run-of-the-mill insurance broker focused on insurance premiums. We are focused on building high-performance health plans for businesses of all sizes. We have solutions for small groups, large groups, and mid-size employers. The solutions are plentiful. It's the approach. We call it the plan system, prioritizing employee health, leveraging technology, aligning for proper outcomes, and navigating the healthcare system. That's the mindset we've created. We're working with companies that are doing this every day. Look forward to connecting with like-minded business owners who really don't want to continue to pay 5, 10%, or even more than that every single year for something they have very little insights in. Thank you very much. Nice meeting you.
Hello, my name is Rick Drum, and I am the founder of Peak Growth Solutions, Peak Leadership Teams, and Peak Micro Learning. Prior to starting those companies, I've led companies in manufacturing and distribution in the music industry, which included being president of D'Addario and Company, which is based on Long Island, and also president of Vic Firth Incorporated, which is based up in Boston. So I ran companies for 33 years, and then I started my own coaching business. Again, Peak Growth Solutions, Peak Leadership Teams, and Peak Micro Learning. So I broke them up into 3 pieces because I use Peak Growth Solutions to basically go in and diagnose an organization. I created an app called the Hidden P&L. And what that app does is it does a survey of the leadership team, middle management, and frontline workers. So the leadership team has 30 statements that they rate, middle management 20 statements, frontline workers 12 statements. And out of assessing those statements, I can understand where the alignment or misalignment is inside the organization. And then I can help the organization see what their regular P&L isn't showing them. I call it the hidden P&L, and where they are leaking all kinds of money and opportunities inside the organization. Peak Leadership Teams does the fixing. It's on the ground. It is working hand in hand with the leadership team and helping them create alignment, create their culture, and create the right structure to help the organization achieve whatever vision that it wants to achieve. Peak Microlearning is a series of 700 micro courses that range in time from 5 to 15 minutes. And that is really the maintenance of the organization. So those courses are singularly, each course is singularly focused on a specific topic, and they are asynchronous, and they provide a wide range of skill sets to study, but also, most importantly, the durable skills, which are becoming increasingly important to train your people on. So those are the three main services that I offer. I diagnose the organization. I work with the leadership team in person to help the organization with its vision of growth and execution. And then I also provide micro courses to continually train and maintain the workforce. My website is peakgrowthsolutions.com. And my email address is rick@peakgrowthsolutions.com. And my phone number is 774-249-5131. And I look forward to meeting all of you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bill Miller. I am a relatively older author, founder, CEO of my own company, and I am a member of AVCCI. I joined this year. I've been on the podcast, the ABC podcast, AVP podcast, and I really enjoy this particular group. So I'm the author of two books, The Rookie CEO, You Can't Make This Stuff Up, and What Every CEO Must Know, 37 Secrets to Lead with Confidence and Power. I founded my own company, which is consulting now. I added publishing to it in 2011. It's Beeline Bill Enterprise. That's on beelinebill.com, and that website is being updated. This week it should be updated. And last year co-founded a company called Zaboom with 3 O's, LLC, Zaboom LLC, where we do voice AI, in mostly outbound calling. We do some inbound. So those are the things that I'm actively involved in. I have 5.5 decades in technology, the last 3.5 decades as an executive leader. I have had a seat at the table. I worked for many rookie CEOs or first-time CEOs, another way to say rookie, at various phases of their role, and that's what drove the creation of my first book. Living in the trenches, being a number 2 executive in a company, and knowing how decisions are made, knowing good decisions, bad decisions, decisions that could have gone either way. Think about your life. Every major decision in your life is a fork in the road. If you go this way, you take that job. If you go that way, you take another job. And that sets you up for whatever is next. And so our life is really built around the decisions we make and how they come out. So I've written about a lot of these experiences. The second book, I have actually firsthand stories from many CEOs in there. Some of them are CEO stories that I tell as the number 2 man or somebody on the executive team. Because you see, over the years, you see patterns of things that CEOs tend to do, especially first timers. First timers go in, they have a business function that they came from typically, unless they're a super young founder when they're very early, and they, especially these days with AI, there's a lot of founders that have never been in a corporate company, corporate America, where they where they've learned all of the things that you go through to work your way up the chain. So typically, um, though, the first time CEOs, all the ones I've worked with, they come from a business function. It could be engineering, could be sales, could be marketing, could be finance, and they have expertise that got them to where they were to be positioned for the CEO role. In one way or another, they either got promoted or they got hired into that role. When you get in there, you don't know what motivates all the other teams unless you have worked with somebody who's a coach or an advisor, board of directors, whoever it is that becomes your right hand right out of the chute. You really don't know what you don't know. And so my second book, and a lot of my speaking now and my writing, is about blind spots. And so I'll be releasing kind of a new offer very shortly that'll be on the new website, which is you'll be able to do a free CEO assessment to identify the top blind spots, the top things that you need help with. You get a free assessment. You can get an assessment brief report from me. All of that is for free. And then if you want to go into an intensive, what I call a blind spot intensive, then you can work with me for a modest fee. But there's a lot of experience there. I help people work around challenges that they just can't see around the corner. And a lot of times, again, like I said, you don't know all the different business functions. You know the one you come from the best. You might have opinions that you're a good marketer or a good salesperson, and maybe you are because you've learned from good people that have worked with you over the years. But to put it all together and be that person at the top, and your boss is the board of directors, or outside people's, outside investors or shareholders, it gets to be a little bit more difficult when it's your decision. And who do you go to? Who do you talk to? Uh, what kind of advice are you going to get? Is it going to be filtered or unfiltered? Who do you trust? Who can you trust? All of those things, I try to help you build muscle uh, to handle all of those specific situations. And again, my books are to help first-time CEOs, founders, and stuck CEOs kind of move forward, see what other people have done, see how it's worked out. Think about my second book, The 37 Secrets to Lead with Confidence and Power, what every CEO must know there. It's real stories. They're the biggest mistakes CEOs have made, how they could have avoided it, how they recovered from it, and how they moved forward. And you'll see in that book if you read it, and I do recommend it, it's a great read with 37 secrets to help you. The thing is that other people made these mistakes. You can see how they got there and the decision they made, why they made it, and what the results of that were in their particular company. And more than half of the CEOs that I write about in that book, these are their stories directly from them that they gave to me with rights to print it, use their name, the company that they were at. Several other CEOs gave me the rights to their story, but would not identify themselves by name and company because they're still there. And so they're surviving. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has blind spots. You should shorten your cycle to better leadership, making better decisions, especially under pressure, and especially when you don't know what you don't know. So those are the things that kind of make me tick these days. Again, think about what I do. I have Beeline Bill Enterprises, which is my kind of like I call it a consulting firm. It used to be Beeline Bill Consulting, and then I changed it. But I have my publishing firm there, my consulting firm, and everything else that I do personally. I have my two books. I'm a co-founder of Zaboom, again with three O's, Zaboom LLC, which is a voice AI startup, about 7 or 8 months old now. And we have our first customers working on product market fit. we have some pretty satisfied return customers. It's a month-to-month SaaS type situation with voice AI. So my partner and I, as my life partner and business partner, we stay focused on using AI in business and all of the different types of methodologies. I have a blog on TMCnet, ceoinsights.tmcnet.com, which is the company called TMC, which is Technology Marketing Corporation. The CEO is Rich Durrani, president is Dave Rodriguez. I've been involved with them for years. I moderate a CEO Insights panel at IT Expo for the last 6 years in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and build a panel of 3 to 4 CEOs, and we just have a topic, whatever that topic is in the track we're on. So I do that. All of the recordings of those panels are on my YouTube channel, which if you do searches for Beeline Bill, which is my brand, BeeLineBill, same as my website. If you do searches for Beeline Bill, you'll find pretty much all of my a lot of my things. There's videos for also the CEO success stories that's sponsored by the Cloud Voice Alliance. I'm sort of a content advisor there, and I interview CEOs in the telecom space and related because I've been involved in that market for many, many years. And voice AI is kind of part of that because voice is coming back as a big thing these days. There's nothing like a good old telephone call, and now voice AI is considered an automated call by the FCC and TCPA, Telecommunications Consumer Protection Act. And when you think about all of the things that I do in a semi-retired mode, I'm kind of busier now than I was when I was working full time, which I left technology in 2020. That's when I wrote my first book in 2020. The second book was published the end of 25. I stay active. It's one of the reasons that I joined the AVCCI and their book club. And we featured me in the first inaugural of that particular podcast, and my book is listed on the AVCCI book club website. So kind of that's me in a nutshell. I live in Maplewood, Minnesota, which is part of St. Paul. I come from the Boston area, so I'm a hardcore Boston and New England sports fan. I was born and bred in that area, went to school in Needham, Mass, and then Northeastern. I've lived in many states besides Massachusetts, California, Southern California, Northern California. I've lived in Huntsville, Alabama when I worked for Digium. I've lived in Minnesota now twice. This is my second time, and we're here because of a grandbaby that's a half an hour away. And so I stay pretty active online, and this is a great group to be part of.
Thank you for being with me in the American Business Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, guestbooking@americanpodcast.tv. If you'd like to sponsor ABP, if you'd like to advertise in our podcast episodes, please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can advertise your company, your products, your services, and your brands in the American Business Podcast. Please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can also visit our website, americanpodcast.tv, to learn more about the American Business Podcast as well as our coming streaming schedule. Now you can have your branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast network. We call it Business Podcasting as a Service, PaaS. If you're interested in starting your business podcast in the American Business Podcast Network, please send us an email, paas@americanpodcast.tv. As part of our international expansion, we started international podcast editions. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube page. And please go to the podcast section in our YouTube page and you'll see our international podcast editions. They are ABP Espanol, ABP German, ABP French, ABP Hindi, ABP Portuguese, and ABP Turk that you can listen to American Business Podcasts in 6 different foreign languages. Okay, well, we are in the process of increasing our presence in social media. If you're on LinkedIn, please scan this QR code and subscribe, follow us on LinkedIn. If you're on TikTok, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our TikTok page. Please subscribe. Please follow us. If you are on Instagram, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Instagram page and please subscribe. If you are on Facebook, we'll also appreciate your help and support. Please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Facebook page and please follow us. And finally, we are on IMDb, next to other reputable media productions. Please scan this QR code, go to our IMDb page, and please rate us on IMDb. We'll truly appreciate your help and support. I'd like to thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. I'm looking forward to seeing you in coming the American Business Podcast episodes. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. The American Business Podcast, America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. Thank you very much for your help and looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.